Hello, everyone. It's good to have you here, and this is the Hackthon presentation from the Shanghai Holy High team. And our Hackthon topic is about investigating the AWS API gateway. And before we start, I'd like to introduce our team members to you guys. And from the left to right are Victor, Calvin, and Addis. Okay. Um, you remember in the mid of July that AWS have some of his new members, among which one is AWS API Gateway, and it was said the API Gateway allows developers to securely connect mobile and web applications located on AWS Lambda or APIs hosted on Amazon EC2 or other publicly addressable web services hosted inside or outside of AWS. And we could also gain a lot of benefit from that if we have those APIs on the AWS API Gateway, which including traffic management and authorization and access control, monitoring, and API management. I'll show you a diagram before I give you some demo for our hackathon. You see the diagram and that from the very left, we have client here, and in the middle, we have API gateway. And to the backend, we have several options. We could either connect to a AWS Lambda or a HTTP proxy or a lot of other things such as mock integration, that kind of stuff. And for our demo purpose, we go this way, and we'll use AWS Gateway to connect to our B2 or Ultra services, in which AWS Gateway is acting as a facade to our clients and customers. Okay, I'll first show you some simple demo of some API calls. From here, you see I've got API collection, which is called Hackthon demo, and within it are the three APIs we made during the hackathon. And the first is courses, second is course, and assignment. For the first courses API, we integrate that with B2 backend. And the following two goes to the Ultra API. What need to mention is that for the Ultra APIs, we are calling multiple Ultra APIs to make those data displayed. Now I'll make a call to see what happens. Oh, a bunch of courses data are displayed. It's wonderful. And if you are careful enough, you'll find that this URL, the base path of the URL is actually the deployed AWS API Gateway endpoint. So that's the magic we'll describe later on. And now let's call the second API. It takes some time, but you see this is an Ultra course and all the course detail informations are within it. Let's move on to the third. Yes, and with all those information in hand, you might be wondering how actually the backend or underneath is working. So I'll give you some brief introduction on the backend configuration stuff. First, we have to create some Lambda functions in there. You see, for the first three are the demo lambdas, and the first one is course, second assignment, and the courses. With the lambda configured, we'll go directly to the API Gateway console And the rest of the stuff is to creating the resources, which is some RESTful stuff. You see here is a hierarchy, and these are all the stuffs we configured for our demo purpose. Let's take one for example. Let's see, we want to see the course detail. And you see in this page, we have client in the very left and the lender in the very right. Between them are all the AWS API Gateway did for us. In the method request, we'll define what parameters, what headers, that kind of stuff we need the client to send us. And in integration request, you'll see some mapping templates. Before that, I'd like to mention that the lender itself, if you know, it's totally irrelevant with the HTTP protocol. So actually, you have to define those mapping relationships between the HTTP header or HTTP query parameters to the lender request. So that's why we need to configure those integration requests in here. I show an example, and we only take application JSON. When the content type is application JSON, we'll do this mapping template. And you'll see here, this is the HTTP header that client gave us, and when it reached to the API gateway, we will convert it to our lambda model. This is our lambda model hierarchy. And also you will be able to get the pass parameter and the query parameter. And with that all in hand, you'll finally be able to call the API like what we did just now. You may also do some testing here for the unit test purpose. And one more thing I'd like to mention is, as I mentioned, the AWS API Gateway can give us more than only an API invocation. In this dashboard, you will get several things, like the API calls, latency, and 4 error, 5 error, and all these stuffs are related to the monitoring. So once we integrate with the Amazon API Gateway, those are the things we could benefit from. And also, if you are doing logging in the lenders, you will be able to get some log information in the CloudWatch. It's a bit slow. I will not show the details in here. Okay, finally, don't forget to deploy your configured API gateway to the right stage. And here we name that test. You could have a look here. Yes, that's it. And last but not least, I'd like to mention that we could gain some benefit from the API gateway, and you could do some easily monitoring API activities and streamline API develop. And actually, we are doing those stuff running without servers. And you see here, we could enable API cache, which could expedite your API calls. And you can also custom your domain. And for the time purpose, we will not elaborate here. Okay, that's all the stuff we did for the during the hackathon. And Thanks for paying your time watching that.